GearNetwork.com.
This is a Gear Network production.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Gear Network presents the Football Talk Weekly Podcast with John Cimino and Brandon Gorell. And now, here's John.
Hi! How's it going, everybody?
Hello.
We are back. Yes. And, okay. So, I know I said a couple of weeks ago we were going to be rebranding and all that stuff, and then you hear the Football Talk Weekly Podcast thing in the beginning, and you're like, wait, what? I don't get it, but, yeah, we're...
That's like the Republicans' ACA replacement. It's a placeholder.
Oh, boy.
It's a placeholder.
The resistance is the problem, Brandon.
Yes.
All right. How's it going, everybody?
This is receding waistband.
Okay. Not gonna be very many toasties going forward, but that one will. But in any event, my name is John Cimino at DJC Money on the Twitter. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to our podcast, and of course, joined here alongside me, my eyesore, Mr. Brandon Gorell. Brandon, say hello.
Hey.
And as always, we are presented by ShopGear.com.
Thawed out Brandon Gorell.
Thawed out.
Yeah, man.
Do tell.
I went to the Stadium Series in Pittsburgh.
Yes, you did.
And we went to the pre-event. There's a pre-show. There's all kinds of like cool things to do, including me and my girlfriend going to meet Lord Stanley and getting to take a picture. And the line for the Stanley Cup was like all the way around the parking lot, and it just wrapped. It was like a never-ending wrap.
Well, I would imagine it would be.
And it was that way the whole 5 hours leading up to the game.
Wow.
Like all day people were stopping in to take pictures with the Stanley Cup. And then there was a little pre-show concert with Calio, which was pretty dope. We got some beers and stuff, and we felt pretty good. It was cool, but it wasn't bad. Mm-hmm. And so then 7 o'clock came when the gates when we wanted to go in. The gates opened at 6, but we wanted to go in about 7 because the puck drop was at 8. So it gave us time to go to our seats and get some food and some drinks and stuff. And we went in, we got some chicken fingers and fries, and we're like, okay, let's go. Head to our seats. And as we walk out of the tunnel to head towards our section in 109 or 106, our chicken fingers almost blew out of our hands.
Oh, no.
There was a huge wind, like gale force winds going through the stadium, and they were swirling. And it was butt-ass cold. Like, it was 30 degrees at game time, and they said the chill factor was 22.
Jesus.
And that was at 8 o'clock, and the game went on till 11:15.
It was 50 degrees up here.
Saturday it was 50 up here?
I'm pretty sure it was.
Friday we were walking around town in Pittsburgh. We went to a couple shops, and then we went to dinner at this German place, which was pretty awesome. And we were walking around in our t-shirts at night.
Yeah.
It was 76 degrees.
No, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm thinking of Friday.
Yeah, Friday was gorgeous.
Friday, yeah. I'm thinking Saturday. I'm thinking Saturday was cold. The dogs were outside and they were bitching. But.
Yeah, and so we were freezing. Like I ended up buying hot hands, and I put the hot hands in my shoes because I couldn't feel my toes.
Oh, wow.
I bought socks to use as gloves. I bought Penguins socks.
You kind of went there a little unprepared for the elements.
We were prepared, but not prepared for that bad of weather. We knew it was going to be cold, and we were layered, we were bundled, and we had winter hats and stuff like that. But it was so damn cold.
Okay.
Like, it was, like, by the third period, Hannah was just like, I hope this game does not go to overtime because I'm starting to have trouble feeling my legs right now. And she had layers on her legs, too.
Well,
but it was an awesome game.
I'm gonna guess that the experience.
The experience was fantastic
of being there.
Pittsburgh
in that
did a great
crowd.
job hosting it.
Yeah,
being there, it was a lot of Flyer fans. Our hotel actually, ironically, was all like Flyer fans.
Oh,
we came rolling in because when we're in Pittsburgh, most of those people live there, so they don't have to stay in a hotel.
Right? Yeah, that makes sense.
So they were all Philly fans. 4 hour drive up the turnpike.
Right.
Which became a chant during the game. It was enjoy enjoy the turnpike, and everyone was like taunting them as they were walking out.
That's
Because
funny.
as soon as it came 4-2, they were just like,
Yeah, they were done.
Mass exodus of orange, and it was so
Well,
great.
it was very noticeable on TV.
Yeah.
Especially in the third period. And I had tuned in kind of in the beginning, and then
and then you saw a train, and you had a seizure and passed out because they weren't supposed to be there.
Yeah.
It ended up being a last-minute fill-in for One Republic.
Okay.
The lead singer got sick and couldn't do the show.
Oh, no good. No good.
So we ended up getting train, and it was just so bad.
I don't know. I turned it off for a little bit. I did some other things. I think schoolwork, really.
Yeah.
And then I turned it back on. It was the third period, and
Yeah.
there was a lot of empty seats.
A lot of people couldn't hack the cold.
Yeah.
Around puck drop, I mean, there was a few empty seats because they didn't sell it out. It's a 70,000 plus stadium,
right.
And you've got a hockey team that is in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and the Penguins Arena holds like 30,000,
Right.
and a sellout, and they always sell out at home, but trying to fill 70,000 outside, and the tickets were pricey. Like, we got good seats. And I paid with service charges about $200 a pop. There were nosebleed seats up in like the 500s that were $125 a piece.
Really?
And that was the standard price. It wasn't like, okay, some scalper totally, gouged somebody. That was the price to sit up there. So there was seats that were empty in the 500s because I can see people say, I'm not going to sit in the freaking cold for, $125 a seat, especially up at that top of the stadium because that wind had been coming up gnarly in that area. But it was a great game. It was a great time, except for train. They did like the introduction of because I don't know if you saw the top 100 list.
No.
The NHL did a top 100 players of all time,
Okay.
and 9 of them came out of Pittsburgh.
Okay.
They had 4 of them there because 2 of them had passed, and then obviously Yager's still playing and can't do it, and somebody else couldn't make it either. But Trottier was there. Who else was there? Crap, I forget who else. And then they had Lemieux. Lemieux came out before Crosby, and they didn't interview Crosby because he was still playing in the game.
Right,
And
right,
head
right.
out, from the tunnel. But, it was dope seeing him score a goal. And those jerseys were tight. They were yellow with
Yep.
the City of Champions,
I
and using the Steelers letters on the jersey names
I saw
and
them.
stuff. $2 for a jersey. Didn't want to pay that. I did, but I didn't. But yeah, it was a good time.
Awesome. Good stuff.
Minus the freezingness.
I'm with it here, but I'm not going to lie, breaking on the wall here. We are recording during SmackDown, and from those of you that follow me on Twitter and from my wrestling days know that I know Luke Harper, and I reference him on my wrestling podcast or whatever. Luke Harper is currently wrestling AJ Styles. The winner goes to the main event of WrestleMania.
Wait, AJ Styles still wrestles?
Yeah, he wrestles. He's got soccer mom hair.
Oh.
And he just pinned Luke Harper. Again. I mean, I like AJ Styles, don't get me wrong, but I'm a little biased towards Luke Harper, so
Yeah.
I'm not sure I know what's going on here, but I'm sure Twitter will fill me in. But all right, we got it. We got an introduction here.
Ramble Fest 2017.
Before we go ahead and get into the football of the Football Talk Weekly, yes, not yes anymore, but I want to take you back to the December 29th, 2016 show. We dedicated that show to a listener, a fan, and more importantly, a friend by the name of Brett Carlson. We made a slight mention of him and, the little sound effect that we did.
Old Bretsky.
I hashtagged Keep Fighting Bretsky after Brandon, as we signed off, said the same thing. For those, we didn't fill in the story, but just to kind of give the backstory, we've known Brett for many, many years, and we all worked together. We were, the three amigos, if you will. Brett was battling cancer and had been battling cancer and battling it very, very well for the past 8-9 months.
Yeah.
At this point, at the time that we made mention of Brett, it was when we realized that it was not good.
Yeah.
The news was not good, and that we had to, kind of get in where we could fit in at that point to see him and talk to him and everything. And moments before that particular episode went to air, I had come back from the hospital. You were there hours beforehand. Yep. I was there minutes beforehand, so my mind was totally elsewhere. Yeah. Brett passed away a couple of weeks ago. And I've mourned at this point.
Yeah.
We've all mourned. But I do want to let everybody know that first of all, for everybody that asked after that podcast, thank you. Brett appreciated it. I did let him know that there were a lot of well wishes, even though that there wasn't a whole lot made to it, but they knew something was up. And then when I returned to wrestling, I wore a band around my arm that had his name. I dedicated it to him.
One T.
Right. And I told him I was going to do that. A few days before he died, I saw him at his room in hospice, and he just, he looked it. It was very clear to me that he wasn't going to be on this earth much longer. And one of the things he asked, Brandon, was,
yes,
how's the podcast? And I told him, we're in a little bit of a hiatus.
It sucks, man. You heard it.
I said, we're in a little bit of a hiatus right now. We're thinking about a rebrand and kind of go there, And he wrote, I keep listening. I enjoyed it. You guys made me smile. If I could fully smile, I would. But just to let you know, you guys made me smile. So that was cool. And so
very cool.
Brett was looking forward to hearing our return to the air. Sadly, he will not be doing that. But Brett, you're always going to be remembered. And safe home, buddy. And thanks for listening. And thank you, more importantly, for being a friend.
Yes, sir. Agreed.
And now,
back to shenanigans.
Brett would be mad if we just kind of left it there at a somber note.
Right.
So we're going to talk about the NFL. Finally, 10 minutes in here.
National Fruit League?
National Fruitball League, yes.
Oh. Froyo.
So, the NFL's off-season moves, a lot has been going on the past few weeks.
Yeah, including
past few
the Falcons
days.
blowing a 28-3 lead.
we do know that. We do know that. and what did 28 plus 3 equal?
31.
And the Warriors blew a 3-1 lead.
That's right.
Go. Illuminati! All right. So let's start with some of the moves here. Breaking just as I was walking in the door.
Yeah.
The Jets are going to release Darrelle Revis.
Yeah.
He is going to be a free agent come March 9th.
Surprise.
Not really. After his, his down
after
season.
His terroristic off season.
And then, his kind of... Now, you mentioned you thought, he'll probably move to safety.
Right.
Okay.
He'll stay relevant in the league as a safety.
Where do you
it's
think?
The only way he's
where do you think he winds up? Think Belichick takes another?
No.
Takes him again, or you think he's like now?
Belichick's set. Unless he needs real bad safety help, but Revis left kind of in not great terms. Busted out of there. I mean, he was out of there as soon as the confetti hit the ground when they won the Super Bowl against Seattle, and he was gone right after that. I mean, there was no way he was staying around.
Right back to the rival.
Yeah, right back to the rival. It's kind of a D move, but whatever. He wanted to get paid. He knew it was probably his last big contract. Jets were stupid enough to pay him, so I guess kudos to him.
They've done a lot of stupid things.
Hoodie's not going to take him back. Honestly, I don't know where he catches on. He could catch on in Cincinnati. Marvin Lewis is good working with, guys who kind of are on their last limbs. And maybe we're a little knucklehead sometimes.
What about Dallas?
I don't think so.
They need help on defense.
They need help. No, they need guys to stop doing drugs. That's what they need. They had a lot of guys suspended for doing drugs.
Well, start replacing the druggies with terrorists.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't see them a fit in Dallas. Dallas is going to be pretty cap strapped anyways. Even if they release Romo, they still got some holes to fill. Beyond that, they're going to have to pay Dak eventually. They're going to have to pay Zeke even more because their rookie contracts will come up in a couple years. Mm-hmm. So I don't see them sinking any money in Darrelle Revis, and Darrelle Revis is going to be the type that's going to hold out for a bigger deal with somebody, because he, in his mind, still can play.
Buffalo?
No, he's not going to Buffalo.
Sorry, Bills fans.
He's not going to Buffalo. Buffalo doesn't want him. Buffalo doesn't need him. They had a good defense. They had a good secondary until Rex came to town. Jim Schwartz did a great job with that defense.
Yes, he did.
And, the Ryans came in and Ryan it all up.
Of course they did.
So I don't know. I mean, he could go. He could go back to Tampa.
Could be. You know what? I didn't even think about Tampa.
He can go to Atlanta. Atlanta could use a veteran in the secondary.
Offense? Yeah, I'll have a beer. I'm just listening to that to put me in the FTW podcast mood earlier today. It was pretty funny.
So I don't know exactly where he lands. I think I have a little more certainty on where AP lands when you're going to get to that next.
Okay, well, sure. we'll head there in a few moments. The Steelers, they placed the franchise tag on Le'Veon Bell, whom had 1,884 total yards and 9 touchdowns in 2016. Yep. They also signed wide receiver Antonio Brown to a 4-year, $68 million deal with an option to make it a 5-year, $72 million deal if they want to pick up that.
I saw Mr. Brown on Saturday.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, he was at the Pens game. He
nice.
Introduced the Penguins.
Nice.
And he was kind of walking around, and I saw him walking around upstairs, and people were, swarming him because he's a Pittsburgh hero right now.
Right.
I didn't partake.
Okay.
I'm a Packers fan. It's
Big Ben.
It was basically like, oh, cool. It's Antonio Brown.
Gonna guess.
I kept walking.
Gonna guess Big Ben is not going to retire. But anyway, the New York Giants, they used the franchise tag on defensive end Jason Pierre-Paul.
Yeah, they said they're not even close to a deal either.
Right. They're gonna work it out though. Apparently, the Los Angeles Chargers franchise tag Melvin Ingram.
Well, they don't have to work out a long-term deal for Pierre-Paul. Just pay him what he pay him this year, and he'll be there for another year.
Yeah, pretty much.
Unless somebody wants him, and then they got to get a first-round pick.
Right. Melvin Ingram, 18.5 sacks over the past 2 seasons for the San Diego/Los Angeles Chargers. The Chicago Bears, they're unlikely to use the franchise tag on wide receiver Alshon Jeffrey, which would make him an unrestricted free agent.
Yep.
Now to your boy, Brandon. Adrian Peterson. Minnesota declines his 2017 option, making him an unrestricted free agent
that was
as well.
the most obvious of obvious things that was going to happen this
Darrelle
offseason.
Revis getting cut by the Jets thinks that was
Yeah,
obvious. He was set to
that's
earn
a lot of money for an old running back.
He was set to earn $18 million if the option was picked up. The possible destinations include, but are not limited to, if you have something completely different, Dallas to pair with Zeke, Tampa Bay, Oakland, those Green Bay Packers, or he could also renegotiate and come back to Minnesota at a much lower rate. Brandon, where do you see your boy going?
I see him going to the New York Giants.
You think?
Yeah.
I know they need help at running back.
There's been a lot of talk about it. They released their running backs. So they only have 2 on the roster, and neither of them are very good. They have the cap room, so they can go out and get them. I think they take a shot at him, and especially, given it would give Eli a running game, which he's kind of desperately needed for a while now, because he's become very one-dimensional when you face the Giants, and it's like it's either Odell Beckham or bust, and a lot of times it's been bust. I mean, Green Bay shut Beckham down for the most part in that game, and they were out of the playoffs.
Speaking of the Giants, they released Victor Cruz.
Yeah, not a surprising move either. Again, money saving.
Here is I think everybody can universally agree is a very, very good move and good on Eric Berry.
Yeah.
Chiefs and Eric Berry agree to a 6-year, $78 million deal, which includes $40 million of guaranteed money and $20 million as a signing bonus. Now, they're also releasing running back Jamal Charles.
Yep.
After 9 seasons in Kansas City, he is
They don't
the
need him.
all-time leading rusher with 7,260 yards. Is there still tread on those tires?
There may be tread on his tires, but not much tread left in his knee. Mm-hmm. That thing's jacked up, and that's tough to come back for a running back, especially one that relies on explosiveness and his cutting abilities.
Exactly. The Patriots will not use the franchise tag on linebacker Dante Hightower.
This is a, water is wet kind of move.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't pay people unless they're real big necessities.
Even if they are big necessities, they don't pay.
Yeah,
they don't pay
true.
people.
That's true.
He earned $7.75 million in the final year of his rookie contract.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know exactly where he would wind up. Probably Oakland, somewhere. Someone's going to pay him.
Arizona, maybe.
Someone's going to pay him. Tight end Martellus Bennett is going to try the free agent market. Last we heard.
Yeah, smart move. He got a Super Bowl.
Washington has franchise tagged Kirk Cousins for the second year in a row.
I don't think he likes that.
No. He will make, however, $24 million next year.
That I do think he likes.
After being paid $20 million this year. Now, the way it works out is regardless of whether or not, with this season here,
Yep.
he's going to get paid. He's
Right.
going to get paid somewhere. If Washington tags him again, or if Washington gives him an extension, or he goes to his other preferred destination, which was San Francisco, he's going to get paid.
Shanny.
And it will have worked out because of these 2 seasons. He will have made the most money of any quarterback in a 3-year span of time.
Even more than Flacco in that terrible contract.
Flacco in his contract, Brady, Manning, any of those big names, because Joe Flacco's elite,
Yeah, right.
Kirk Cousins is going to pass all of them by this time next year, most likely.
Yeah.
So, and then as I said earlier, Jets cornerback
Is
Darrell Davis.
ESPN going to have like a countdown?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Countdown to Kirk Cousins hitting that milestone mark.
you know.
Sports Center special. Breaking news here. Kirk Cousins makes a lot of money.
Speaking of breaking news, and we're going to go, this will be I don't want to say the last of the football news, but it's not really news as much as it is kind of, I don't know, one of those weird things.
Yeah.
Back to your favorite rival, the Vikings. Their new stadium is opening in 2017, right?
It's already open.
Well, I mean, for them, it's opening this season.
No, it's already open. They played in it this year.
Did they play in it?
Yeah, they played in this year. Hi, I'm 2017.
Wait, no.
I'm 2016, John, and I have cable.
They played at the outdoor stadium last season, right?
No, they played in their new stadium
Did
this
they
year.
play in their new stadium?
Yeah, remember they opened it up against Green Bay, and they beat Green Bay? And they started off 4-0 this year, and everyone's like, we're going to the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's
they
right.
have their gorgeous windows and the whole glass stadium.
About that.
Shows how much Minnesota Vikings football that John pays attention to.
Well, they're the freaking Vikings. Who cares about the Vikings? Like, seriously, who cares about the Vikings?
Well, I have to because they're in the Green Bay division.
The Vikings, they're for the birds. Unless they're not.
Hey-o.
Because that big, beautiful, glassy structure of theirs, it's killing a ton of birds.
Yep.
The reflective,
it's very shiny.
The reflective glass is tricking the birds, and they are quite literally. I'm sorry. I'm trying to maintain composure when I'm reading this. They are literally flying full speed ahead and hitting the structure. According to a report by the Minnesota Citizens for the Protection of Migratory Birds and the Friends of Roberts Bird Sanctuary.
Everybody's got a group. We got to start a group and have a cause.
They found that over a 2-hour span. They're watching this shit happen.
Oh.
Three
Bird
groups.
torture porn.
3 groups found 60 dead birds laying on the ground.
That's like 59 too many.
And another 14 stunned on the ground. I'm sorry. I'm such a cruel son of a bitch.
And somewhere Lloyd Christmas is handing them to a blind boy.
14 birds stunned on the ground. The belief is that the stadium, Brandon.
And then Brett Favre came in singing, "Birds on the ground, birds on the ground."
The stadium, Brandon. The belief is that the stadium could kill up to 500 birds a year.
Well, I mean, that stadium has already killed over 350,000 fans' dreams, but that's because of their football team.
To replace all of the glass to make it bird friendly would cost them $60 million. So if you're planning on going to the Vikings games this year,
there's going to be a GoFundMe.
There's probably going to be a protest.
Bird protesters.
The birds. If you go to a Vikings game and you're listening to this and you see a protest, please take a picture.
Bird lives matter.
Please take a picture of it and send it to me on Twitter at DJC Money, because that will be the show cover for that week.
Oh, I think this story is going to kill our host here.
I don't know, man.
Kid's going to die.
Oh, Lord.
He's wheezing.
Oh, man. Just, you're sitting there watching. How are you going to sit there for 3 hours and watch
I know.
bird after bird?
And not do anything about it. They're like, we're just making a point. These birds need to die so that the other birds can be saved.
They're flying in. 100 miles an hour flying in. I mean, I don't know. I'm sorry.
Everybody has a protest group, though, man. It's kind of crazy.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Save the birds.
Okay.
Boy, this podcast is for the birds.
All right. Let's go to the top 10.
Who are these two bozos laughing at birds? Birds dying is a serious matter. Hey, Madge.
Oh.
Madge, you got the scoop?
Oh, that's the scoop.
Yeah, they're killing all the birds.
Hey, Madge, where's...
The window should be tinted. Nah.
Oh, once again, Madge makes an appearance. Madge, it's been too long. It's been too long since the Rex Ryan story.
Madge has got the scoop.
Oh. Well, Madge didn't have the scoop for CBS's mock draft. I'm only going to do the top 10 because I didn't feel like writing the rest of them down, but...
Should do the top 2. Who gives a shit after that?
Yeah, well, if you want to do that, we can.
Yeah.
The top 2, Cleveland, they have Myles Garrett going number 1, the defensive end out of Texas A&M.
Which means they're still going to suck.
And San Francisco, they have Jonathan Allen, defensive tackle out of North Carolina.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Now, the first quarterback that would be taken, according to this, which of course can change...
Which will change, because it's like hardly ever right.
Exactly. Mitch Trubisky going to Chicago.
Ugh.
Jacksonville, they have...
I mean, Chicago will continue to suck as well. That's good news for me. You got bird killers. Poverty in Detroit, and then you've got the Bears just...
Being the Bears. Jacksonville, they have, and a lot of... this is one of the more consistent ones here.
Yes.
Dalvin Cook. Running back out of Florida State.
All right.
Jamal Adams, the safety out of LSU to Tennessee. The Jets seems to be pretty consistent with this one, too. Marshawn Lattimore. They feel that the cornerback out of the Ohio State...
He's a good player.
...would fall to number 6, and the Jets would take him, and he would replace, obviously, Darrelle Revis.
Yeah.
The Chargers have Malik Hooker.
Alu Akbar. Revis.
Carolina with Leonard Fournette, the running back out of LSU. Should be a really good get for them.
Yeah.
Cincinnati would take Solomon Thomas, according to them, defensive end out of Stanford. And then Buffalo, Deshaun Watson, quarterback.
That's just a story that somebody
Clemson.
wants to come up with.
Yep.
Buffalo won't make a smart draft pick.
You think they'll keep Tyrod?
No, they won't pick him either. They'll go get, like... somebody off the scrap heap.
You think it's Cardale Jones time?
No.
No?
That guy's a clown. He's not going to be an NFL quarterback. I got a good as chance of being an NFL quarterback as that guy is.
And you're old, man.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Kyle Orton went in there and went 9-7.
He did.
That guy can barely move.
Yeah, that's true. How's it feel, Bills fan? Sorry. All right,
guy yells bitch all the time. Bitch, get the remote. I can't move.
God damn it, woman. Give me my beer. All right, we're going to go.
Kyle Orton doesn't drink beer.
Whatever. We're going to go to commercial break. And then when we come back, we will talk some other sports, including local sports, particularly the Rochester.
That was devastating news when you dropped that on me.
The Rochester Americans. Now,
I'm holding it.
Hold on.
I'm just saying.
We'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it.
When we come back.
Still not happy.
Right after this.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I'm Ryan Wolf.
it's Mr. Perez.
And I have a question for you, Perez.
What's your question?
Do you like to listen to people talk about sports?
No. Of course, I like sports and listening to people talk about sports.
Well, guess what? I have the perfect solution for
You
you.
have a solution for me?
There's a podcast
Okay.
on this very network.
This network?
Every single week you can hear it.
Really?
New content, latest and breaking news. We talk about baseball, football, hockey, basketball, soccer, UFC, whatever you want to talk about.
So sports in general.
They talk about sports in general. You got
Okay.
it.
I like
you
it.
know the dictionary.
I like
very,
it.
Very proud of you.
Thank you.
I must say, tune in. We are better live than dead
You're not.
every single week. You're not going to want to miss it exclusively here on the Gear Radio Network.
Hey, Don, how's it going?
Living the dream. I'm actually just getting ready to do this commercial.
Oh, you mean the commercial where I tell our listeners to tune into Gear Network every week to listen to our show, Get Ready America? That one?
Yeah, John, that's the one.
They can also listen to us talk about news, sports, whatever's on our minds. That?
And a little of what's on our listeners' minds, but they're just too nice to say it.
Well, that, Don, is a real humdinger.
Humdinger.
Come join us this and every week for Get Ready America exclusively on the Gear Radio Network.
And the Gear Network app.
Cakes.
You son of a bitch.
Sorry.
I know I said that we were going to go and we were going to...
I didn't know you were actually recording.
Yes, I'm recording.
Oh.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, what's this?
This is Luke Harper's theme, which you can get on the Amazon. You can also get on iTunes, Gear Network, all that. In fact, it's up on the site now. I never removed it from the Talking
You can
Wrestling
also
days.
buy a Vajankle.
No, you cannot buy a Vajankle.
Yes, you can.
No. Hi, Don. How you doing?
Bet you can.
Get Ready America. Coming
Amazon has it all.
back. I have a prank call that I want to air too.
Whew.
I've been doing prank calls lately. Yeah, I've been getting these credit
That was
card.
like your calling card back in the day.
Oh yeah.
That's all you did.
Oh yeah. And now that I have the ability to record these things
Yeah.
now, it's kind of amazing to do. In as many days last week, I had 2 prank calls or 2 calls from
It's a lost art.
Saudi Arabia or wherever the hell these calls are coming from. These scam try to get you to sign up for credit card things or whatever. For all you listeners here, if you want to hear that slapstick side of me, what I typically do for these calls is I try to time them and keep them on the phone as long as I possibly can, because they get really annoyed when that happens. So there's 2 that I threw up on the Get Ready America Facebook page, which is facebook.com/GRA on gear. And I threw a couple of them on there, 5 and 6 minutes respectively or whatever. But there is a big one that is 20 minutes in length.
One.
I kept it going, Brandon, for 20 minutes. And it started with, the first level guy or whatever.
That's like collections territory.
He wasn't grasping what I was doing. So he fed me to his bitchy manager, quote unquote, who got mad and was making threats and all that crap. And so I was, feeding into it or whatever. And I'm going to post that on the Facebook page as well. But I'm going to also air that on Get Ready America when we do that later on this week. So.
Back in my poor days, when I didn't have a pot to piss in, and I would have like a late bill, and then they'd hit me with another bill on top of it, and I'm like, well, I couldn't afford to pay the first bill, so you're going to add more money to it? Well, fuck it, I'm just not going to pay it anymore. And so I get calls from like creditors. I don't anymore now that I have money and I can, actually take care of my bills on time all the time. And they used to call me like all the time. They'd call me at work, and those were my favorite, because I would just go back to the back office and just sit there. And the thing of it is those jockeys want that money so bad that you can say just about anything to them.
Yes.
And they can't hang up on you, because they know if they do hang up on you, they lose out on that money.
Oh, yeah.
So I would just have people
a
go,
field
and
day with
I'd
it.
talk about their parents. I'd talk about their life and living in mommy's basement. I had one tell me that I should just be a man and pay my bill. And I was like, well, you have my address. You come make me pay my bill. You be a man. Let's see you come out here, lumpy. I was like, hop in your mom's station wagon and ask her to drive you over to this address.
The station
and I will
wagon.
be gladly
Brought out
waiting
a
for
station
you.
wagon reference.
Oh, I did, with the wood paneling.
Hey, man, those are baby making machines back in the 60s and 70s.
Really?
I don't know.
I thought those were anti-poon.
I don't know. All right. Good one, Brandon.
You're welcome.
quick MLB news here. Little bits and pieces of stuff because really spring training is underway, so there's not really a whole lot going on. But the World Baseball Classic is coming soon. But Brandon, I know you were worried sick about the Padres.
I was.
And Petco Park.
California's funny. They go like a whole year in like severe drought status, and now they're just getting like flooded, and like their dams are gonna break, and it's like, man, they cannot win over there.
No.
It's like either can we just rain a little bit or normal amounts like the rest of the country? Nah,
Petco
you asked
Park
for it.
Petco Park is no longer flooded.
Yeah, they're rolling the sod out.
The all is clear for when the Padres begin play there. And with the Baseball Classic, I believe, is in one of those.
Yeah.
They're also in Seattle.
Sail.
Listen to that earlier today, too. So I figured I'd throw that out there.
Sail.
The MLB reportedly wants, quote, here we go, stickier baseballs to eliminate the need.
You cannot say
for
sticky balls on this program.
To eliminate the need for foreign substances. Brandon, I see it. I write it down. I'm sorry.
I don't understand what that's all about. So you're
Mind is
saying you
going
want to
south.
give a advantage to the pitchers now? One that you deemed illegal before now is going to be okay because you've decided to put it on the ball?
I never know. New rules come in 2018.
I don't understand that.
Could be coming 2018.
I'm kind of surprised at Joe Torre. He's kind of a traditionalist, and he's okay with these moves. And I don't understand it. They must have
quite
nudies
sure
of Mrs. Torre.
Maybe. Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Oh, Brandon. Damn you. You must have missed podcasting, didn't you? MLB.com is currently ranking the top 10 farm systems.
Yeah.
So far, they've only released 10 and 9.
Well, this is helpful.
Yeah, great. It was wonderful.
Tune in 6
wonderful.
weeks, and we can give you the whole
No,
list.
they're planning on having it by the full list at the end of the week. So I'm curious to see, and I will report this next week, where the Twins wind up, because I want to know where
the Red Wings are.
But as far as 10 and 9 is concerned, they have ranked number 10 the Tampa Bay Rays with their top prospects, shortstop Willie Adams, right-handed pitcher Brent Honeywell, Jose De Leon, and first baseman and outfielder Jake Bowers. And then number 9, Bretzky's Cincinnati Reds.
Oh.
Third baseman Nick Senzel, left-handed pitcher Amir Garrett.
They've never been able to fill that hot corner since Chris Sabo retired.
For some reason, when I said Amir Garrett, I was thinking of your Allah Akbar thing with the
Allah Akbar Rivas.
Outfielder Jesse Winker. And it's a hell of a last name there.
ISIS Island.
Sticky. Wonder if he's got the stickier balls there.
Oh.
Right-handed pitcher Robert Stevenson. We're going south, baby. So again, next week.
Well, that's what spring training is for the American League.
That's right. By the end of the week, we'll hopefully see Rochester and Minnesota in that top list. All right, Brandon. So local hockey talk.
Yeah.
I have been. I regularly listen to ESPN Rochester, so that is the source for this story.
Yes. You listen to ESPN Rochester?
I do.
They have an ESPN Rochester?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah. 95.1.
Yeah, I don't listen to the radio.
No, 95.7. I'm sorry.
I don't listen to the radio.
Yeah. Well,
Terrestrial's dead.
Yes. That's why we're podcasting. But anyways, nice plug, little plug for you there. So the Rochester Americans are kind of in limbo right now.
Yeah.
Because the deal that they have, the lease with the Blue Cross Arena, ends at the end of this season.
Which is dog shit, by the way.
Reportedly, the Pagulas, whom own the Sabres and own the Amerks.
Yes.
And Russ Brandon.
Yes.
Have had talks with the city of Rochester about, quote, stepping their game up with the Blue Cross Arena and enhancements or another arena in general.
That's cute, by the way.
They don't want to... They want it to be able to... They want to be able to host some Buffalo Sabres games here.
Yeah.
Which I could understand from that aspect, but again, we're talking about where a minor league state... Well, no. they don't want to bring the Sabres. That's why.
That's their own fault.
That's why
we've had NHL teams here.
We absolutely have,
and they've sold well.
But because of the fact that they're holding their ground with the BCA, that's why we didn't get the preseason Sabres game here this year.
Yeah,
and they went down to somewhere in Pennsylvania. I can't remember exactly where.
Yeah. Nobody wants to see the Sabres here in Rochester anyways. They're diarrhea on ice no matter what city they play in.
Per ESPN Rochester, the Sabres organization has reached out to at least one other arena with regards to hosting their AHL affiliate. That's what they referred to them as, their AHL affiliate.
Yes.
The Sabres have also reportedly said that they would not hesitate to have half of the Amerks home games in Buffalo.
Ugh. Good luck selling any tickets up there.
The lease for the team and the Blue Cross Arena expires after the season. Like I said, the city and Mayor Lovely Warren, gotta hate her, says they will, quote, look into making some renovations to the Blue Cross Arena. Russ Brandon, of course, says that there's nothing to the reports. This is per Mike Catalana from Channel 13.
Russ Brandon's a tool.
And Keith Wozniak of Let'sGoAmerks.com wrote that, quote, the last round of negotiations for a long-term lease was based on waiting for a market study to come back about planned improvements to the building. As of December, the city of Rochester was waiting for $10.5 million to begin work on building this summer to improve the concession areas, restrooms, and club seating, the more expensive center ice seats.
Yeah.
So basically, what it boils down to, right? What it boils down to, of course, is money.
Right.
Now, here is another stat that Keith threw out there. The Amerks have been averaging this season 5,601 fans a game, which is 14th in the AHL.
Right, which is pretty good.
If you put another 400 bodies and seats a night, they're in the top 10. So the club seating will bring in some additional revenue, but Keith asks, is it enough? Do you think, Brandon, that is enough? Is there anything to this? Are we in danger of losing the Americans to a city like Albany, Utica, or whatever?
Don't they already have teams? Albany and Utica?
Albany...
The River Rats?
No,
or
they're
are
not
gone?
They're not there. The River Rats are not there anymore. Utica doesn't have a team.
Really?
I thought Albany I thought Albany had a team. But they used to have the River Rats. The River Rats moved. And now Albany is something else. Hold off on that.
I don't know, man. I can't see the Amerks going anywhere. The Amerks are kind of like, besides the Red Wings, I mean,
Albany
is
Devils.
The most, yeah. It was the River Rats, and now it's the Devils. I knew that Albany still had a team. They play in the Pepsi Arena. I don't know. I mean, they draw really well still. When we had the lockout, that place was packed every single night. Yes, it needs some upgrades, but so does Ralph Wilson Stadium. Or, I'm sorry, the Cap, New Era Field, which basically is just a turd with a bow tie on it.
It's rich. It's rich stadium.
A pile of crap to begin with that needed renovations, and all they did was slap a few coats of paint on it and then renamed it, and took some more money for it for the renaming rights. And yet they're still. Well, we're still in the preliminary phases of finding a new home for building construction on this, but they just want the NFL's money. This guy has no problem sinking money into poor, underperforming players, but when it comes to like actually doing stuff, besides, I mean, he did it for the Sabres. He upgraded their facilities and whatnot, and was able to get the World Juniors here and the NHL draft and stuff. Cool, he invested that, but the few million that it would take to upgrade this place is like pocket change. That guy can find in his car seat.
I don't think he wants to do it, though. That's the thing.
Then he's a douche, which we already knew that. But
right, well, yes.
This whole power structure that he has. The guy has not won shit since he's been in Buffalo.
No, he hasn't. He promised...
either team.
Remember, he promised a Calder Cup.
Yeah.
A Stanley Cup.
Stanley Cup.
No. But for the Amerks, when he bought the team, he bought the team 5 years ago.
Yeah,
and he promised a Calder Cup and a good team, and that hasn't happened yet either. So,
well, first of all, in order to have a Calder Cup, usually you have to have a good parent club with a roster full of guys that are younger and competing and doing well.
I hate to sound like
because otherwise they just go and just pull guys up.
Well, right, but
they all play in Buffalo,
and I hate to reference your team, but the Penguins, they do it right. Every year they're in the Stanley Cup hunt and they're in the Calder Cup hunt.
Right.
Every single
Wilkes-Barre
year.
is always in it, and when guys go down in Pittsburgh, they call guys up from Wilkes-Barre, and then Wilkes-Barre has guys from the ECHL, the Nailers, come up, and they don't miss a beat.
No, they don't. They're in there. I mean, literally.
And the thing is their
single
coach
year.
in the minor league emulates what they have in the NHL, and that's why they've had 2 coaches go from the AHL up to the NHL seamlessly. But also, when the players come up, they already know the offense. They know the system because it's the same system they play in the minors.
Right, exactly.
Where it seems like the Amerks get these uninspired coaches, and you've got Dan Bilesma up there running one system, and you got a different system down in the AHL. It just doesn't work, and this is a problem that they've had for years, is they're just not lining up. They get some talent. The Amerks start off pretty well. They look pretty good, and then all of a sudden Buffalo's like, well, we're ravaged with injuries, and we're going to start making some trades to get some draft picks. So they trade away some of these young AHL talents, and there goes Rochester's team. And then at the end of the year, they just miss the playoffs.
Right.
Because Buffalo pilferages their lineup, because they're like, well, we traded our NHL players away, so now we need more players to fill our roster.
Right.
They take what they have in the AHL, and then the Amerks suffer, and so does their attendance. So, for him to sit there and promise a Calder Cup before Stanley Cup is kind of silly, because you kind of have to have the other one before you have the other.
Right.
Most of the teams in minor leagues that have been winning are 4 winning franchises. You don't have great AHL teams and shitty NHL teams.
Right.
It just doesn't make sense.
When I heard this story, and I heard that the way that the guys were talking about it,
Yeah. It would be devastating, because I love going.
Well, it would be devastating, because they are one of the
And I hate the Sabres.
They are one of the longest
Hi, Wolf.
tenured teams in the NHL or AHL.
Yeah.
It's
It's like classic uniform.
65 or 66
They got a
years or
history,
something like
man.
that. They have a history here. It would be just as devastating if Minnesota were to up and try and move the Red. Well, the Red Wings are owned by.
I climbed over the boards during their last Calder Cup win and ended up on the ice. Fell flat on my ass coming over the boards. My junior year in
It
high
was
school.
1996.
Yeah, junior year in high school, and
I remember
I
that.
got on the ice because Joe Dano was like, "It'll be fine, dude. My dad works here." Yeah, it wasn't fine.
That's amazing.
They took me off immediately.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
But a lot of people were doing it, so I just scampered away.
I mean, I can go back and I can remember my youth, and I used to go to the then Rochester War Memorial a lot, because WWE always used to come to town. It would seem like every 3 weeks.
House shows.
House shows in the area. And I
They'd
always used to
actually
go there.
put good wrestlers on the house
Right,
shows.
yeah.
It wasn't like the Brooklyn Brawler.
Well, no, they do that.
Had those guys, but you actually had good wrestlers come to town.
Right. So, but I used to go to Amerks games too, and I can maybe it's just everything is larger when you're a kid, but I always felt like the arenas were packed.
Yeah.
Back in those days, because there were some really good teams back there.
Right.
I'm talking 88, 89, 90.
Jody Gage.
And then again 96. I didn't go
Darcy
to very many games.
Walkalock.
I didn't go to very many games in 96, but I did, listen on the radio
I went
and everything
to a
like
lot.
that. So
Free ticks.
So the Amerks were they are a fiber in the being of Rochester.
Yeah.
It's Amerks, it's Red Wings, Sure, some people are like, yeah, Rhinos too. Yeah, don't forget us, whatever. But it's
Fuck you. Soccer
exactly.
sucks.
Soccer's junk. How's it going, Western New York Flat? Oh, yeah. My bad. How's
The
Kakalaki now?
Lancers. The Lancers.
But no matter how much you try to make this a soccer town, it's always going to
We
be
will
a
always
hockey
resist.
and baseball town. Hockey baseball town.
Right.
It's always the Red Wings. It's always the Amerks.
Yep.
Home openers are always sold out.
Oh, that place is lit.
It is what it is. So hopefully cooler heads will prevail.
Hopefully Pagula doesn't ruin another franchise.
Right. because I would personally, as would many people in this area,
Yeah, pretty pissed.
Would hate to lose.
I got friends who have season tickets. Have had tickets for years as season ticket holders. You go to the games. So, like, I'm in Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh is a hockey town when it's hockey season. It literally, like, you have the Steelers during football season, and Pittsburgh's kind of like second fiddle. But the thing of it is with the city of Pittsburgh is they roll. Like, they've got the Pirates, and then once baseball season's wrapping up, hey, look, it's football and hockey season. And then football season ends in 18 weeks, maybe more if they make the playoffs. And then it's full-on hockey town. Right now, it's full-on hockey town. You walk around Pittsburgh, everyone's wearing Pens gear. People are walking around in jerseys. They love it. It's like that here in downtown Rochester. When it's game night, you have people walking around in their jerseys, and they have the one thing that I hate the most. And I saw it a few times in Pittsburgh. I think people know a little better. But these asshats who wear jerseys with like 10 signatures all over them, I'm like, what the F? First of all, you're an adult and you haven't got an autograph from some minor league player. But second of all, you're wearing the jersey around. Like, so you're saying that the signature's worthless to you, but not worthless enough that you won't, get something else signed. You got to get it on your jersey, and then you walk around in them. But you go to the Amerks game, they're just loaded all over the place. You see people in their Amerks jerseys that are signed by some schmo who's probably not with the club anymore, hasn't been for years. They're wearing random last names.
How's it going?
How's that guy?
How's it going, Jeff Gilson?
Jeff Gilson.
You freaking clown. I hated that guy.
I loved Jean-Luc Grandpierre, though, man. Only black guy that was on the team.
Yeah.
He fought all the time. It was great. So it would be a definite, like, gut punch for this city.
Yes.
And if they were to lose the Amerks somehow, I would not be surprised if they went and got another team and just brought the Amerks back. Like, the Rochester Americans are not going anywhere. This current franchise, where these players and the connection to Buffalo may go somewhere, but this team's not going anywhere.
I truly hope you're right. Don't get me wrong. I've grown very fond of RIT hockey.
Yeah.
But it's not the same.
No, it's not.
It's not. You can't, I like this setting. Have you ever been to an RIT hockey game?
Yeah. Oh, it's wild.
I love it.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it, but it's
Mikey
something...
works those games.
Does he?
Yeah.
But it's something completely different than the Amerks. The
right.
Amerks is...
It's college.
I go there...
It's like going to an Orangeman game.
Right. I can go to RIT... you get pumped up, you get the college feel, you kind of enjoy that experience.
Yeah.
If you go to Amerks games, it's kind of like me when I go to Red Wings games too.
Right.
I sit down, I'm thinking of times when I was a kid.
Right.
Come there as a kid with my dad when he was around, and like when I go to the Red Wings games, with my grandfather and things like that.
Yeah.
So it's generational. And so I really hope, Pagulas, if you are listening, God damn it, don't F this up. Seriously, don't F this up. Or I will go to the cap and I will piss on your cap.
Well, I'm going to piss on that place anyway. Those suck.
But all right, so okay, I'll keep following that story just to see how that goes.
I'm going to start paying attention to it now too, because this is the first I heard of it.
Yeah, I
don't listen to terrestrial radio.
I almost wanted to text you that.
Yeah.
Beforehand, I'm kind of glad I didn't.
You just knew my fragile state couldn't handle it. My love of hockey after I blew up our last podcast when we started talking about hockey.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to... Well, instead of opening it up with this feel-good story about Pittsburgh, to be like, hey, everybody, welcome to the Football Talk Weekly Podcast. This is John Cimino at the JC102. God damn it! Pagulas, your stupid ass. I swear to God, I want to joke you. Moving the Amerks.
Oh, I wouldn't get that mad.
Brandon, we didn't start... Shut up! No, Okay. Number 17, Duke just defeated number 15, Florida State.
Who gives a shit?
Okay, very good. March Madness is coming soon, though.
I know, man.
I can't.
You know what the best part of working from home is? Not having to use the boss button. I have one monitor up, I have my iPad up, and then I got the big screen on in the living room, and I can play 3 games in full glory all at once and not have to worry about some slap coming around the corner going, hey, you're not supposed to be watching TV at work. I'm going to tell the boss.
Fuck you, Brandon.
Yeah, I know. You're welcome.
All right, that's going to end it for us this week here on the yet-to-be-renamed Football Talk Weekly podcast. Thanks for tuning in,
It's not
as
renamed.
always.
It's going to be a new show because the Football Talk podcast is not going anywhere.
No,
We're still going to do it next year.
it's going to be it's going to be our it's just going to be our show, man. It's just we're going to. It's an extension.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought we were just doing this for the
No.
time being until football came back, and then
No.
it was like, hey,
I mean, we could, I guess,
surprise, we're back.
rename it.
That's the way. I mean, if the show tanks, we can go back to the Football Talk Weekly and be like, hey, listeners, remember us? Those guys over the summer, they sucked. Am I right? We fired them from the network.
Oh, okay. Well, clearly there's more discussions to be had.
You'll be the
That's what-
JC.
you know what,
You'll
that's-
be the JC Money 1 on Twitter. You'll have to change your name.
Very good.
That guy sucked.
Very good. Very good. But
Really
anyways,
fell off.
thanks for tuning in to whatever the hell this is. Even though it's still under the Football Talk banner, we'll figure it out. I
We're
will tell
back
you this.
next week with a new scoop from Madge.
By the time the NFL season rolls around, we will have either thought of something or thought of nothing.
I'm gonna bank on nothing.
All right, Brandon. Good day to you.
Good day to you.
So long, everybody. Good night now.
Safe home, birdies.
The preceding presentation has been brought to you by the Gear Network.